Hello, everyone. It's Chris Kelly from the Fountain Report. Welcome to another Fountain Conversation. Today, we're very pleased to have Daniel Eisenstadt, the CEO and founder of Terravet Real Estate, which is now known as Terramed Real Estate. So, welcome to the program, Dan.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you guys having me.
So, obviously, there's been a rebrand. Tell us a little bit about the rebrand and how you think it's going to benefit your core audience, which is comprised, at least today, primarily of members of the veterinary community.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. The rebrand's been coming for actually some time. In a way, it's been an evolution. Um, as I think a number of folks know, and you know, we got started in the veterinary sector as a real estate player more than a decade ago, investing in veterinary real estate, developing, buying. And then just by chance, about 5 years ago, we got introduced by an investor in the veterinary sector to an investment they had in human ophthalmology real estate. And we thought, oh, this is interesting. We took a look. It was an ambulatory surgery center. And we said, huh, there's certain things that reminded us of the veterinary sector, of a specialty emergency veterinary hospital. And we thought maybe we'll expand and dip our toe in the water. And we did. And then over time, we did a little bit more to the point where, while it was once 100% veterinary, now it's about 90% of our rent comes from veterinary and about 10% from human ophthalmology. And we felt like it made sense to clarify that, in fact, we are doing both. Um, and the question of how it benefits the core audience, I'd say two things, and that is the veterinary sector. One, um, it's sort of a compliment, I think, to the veterinary sector that there's nothing, as in our minds, as good as the veterinary sector. But we were looking for human health care that had some of the attributes of veterinary in terms of the type of buildings, the type of build out, and the type of really passionate professionals. And so we sort of the things we X'd off were things that were far from that. The things we liked were similar. And the second reason is that for our veterinary partners in our Terramed REIT, um, there's more diversification now. We're going to be diversified not just within animal hospital real estate, but within certain niche healthcare. And if you think diversification is good, that's a positive too.
So, when you look at the veterinary real estate market today, what are the things that get you most excited? And conversely, what keeps you up at night?
Yeah, I think what gets me most excited is we've gone through a period of a lot of investment from institutional investment and consolidation, but I think everyone's woken up to the fact that they now need to really operate. They need to figure out how to operate these veterinary practices, and how to do them in a sense at scale. Still entrepreneurial veterinarians doing a great job with it, and also companies, but focusing on the operations, focusing on innovations. And I think given how tight the labor market is, what's good is they're figuring out how to operate in concert with recruiting and retaining veterinarians. So, when I look at that, I think, what does that mean? That means investing in facilities where we live, right? Means that you can't have a tired old facility, recruit and retain, and really still figure out how to operate well. You have to focus on the flow, and so I think that means investing in our buildings. What keeps me up at night is deferred maintenance. The sector developed as mom and pop veterinarians were building in converted houses and sometimes not with institutional buildings. And then when you had investors come in and buy the practice, and the landlord would be remote, if they didn't take care of it, there would be little things that if the doctor who owned it was there, they would take care of a leak here, a leak there. There's just a lot of deferred maintenance in a lot of the smaller general practices, and that keeps me up at night in terms of sort of the quality of the building stock that we've got.
So we've got some challenges in
Yeah.
veterinary medicine today. I mean, visits are declining, transactions the same way. I think at the core of it is a very cautious consumer or pet owner, if you will. So what do you think the next 24 to 36 months look like in veterinary real estate? And how should potential sellers think about, or what should they consider to make the best possible decisions about things surrounding the real estate and their businesses in general?
Yeah, look, I think one of the things that we should be aware of is this isn't like your father or mother or grandfather's veterinary sector, right? When I started in the sector more than 15 years ago, it was just an old saw that no one ever moved their practice, right? The building was there. It was there for 30 years. People came, That's no longer the case. We're watching, particularly corporate groups, but others relocate, focus on what's a better location, focus on where they can recruit and retain doctors and staff. And that means we're seeing buildings be shut down. And so I think it makes sense for a veterinarian who owns real estate to be very, very focused and honest with himself or herself about what the real estate is, how good it really is for the practice, and also how up to date it is, right? If it's up to date, if it's got a long lease, if it's got the right, tenant that has a good practice and good operations, terrific. If not, they may really want to be thinking about selling or partnering or renovating, just because I think what was true about 20, 30 years, veterinary practices always stay, is not going to be true in the next 24, 36 months, particularly if we see an economic downturn, particularly if we see other hardship. So that would be my message, is be really honest with oneself about the kind of building you have and how it suits the practice.
Well, again, it makes perfect sense. Um, I just want to say at this point, it's been a great few minutes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your insights with our audience, and we hope to have you back sometime soon.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Take care.